Hey Labradoodle lovers, we've got a litter of 2-week-old Labradoodle puppies here for you today, and in today's video we're going to talk about what milestones these puppies have met, give you an update on their birth weights, and show you some open eyes, give you a little update on Mama Juniper here, and also give just a little bit of information about vets, trainers, and grooming. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these are our puppies from the Turkish Coffee litter. We named these puppies Turkish Coffee because Turkish Coffee is brown for coffee and it's black coffee usually, and it's a strong coffee. And you can see we have all these colors here. These are sable Labradoodle puppies. There's one or two in here who are not sable, but for the most part, these are sable puppies. And these puppies are 2 weeks old, and you can see they're all nursing like crazy. So they're growing, they're getting a lot more robust. They have reached a couple of important milestones this past week. The first one is that their eyes have opened, and we'll show you all of those when we go through each of the individual puppies. Now, puppies are born with their eyes sealed shut because their brains and their central nervous system, they're not ready to receive all the information that the eye brings in. Same with the ears. That's why the ears are also sealed shut. So when the dog's central nervous system has developed to the point where they're ready to receive that information, process it, and deal with it properly, then their eyes open. So puppies usually open their eyes, on average it's day 14-ish, but they can open as early as day 10, and they can be as late as day 21. We had a puppy in the summer whose eyes weren't open. It was day 23, so that's a little bit too long, so we went off to the vet. I could have opened the puppy's eyes myself, but eyes are something that I don't like to monkey around with at all. So we went to the vet and he did exactly what I would have done, which is go like this, where you pry them open just with your fingers, and then we just wipe them. Now that puppy had some discharge, a lot of crustiness in her eyes, and that was really what was keeping them sealed shut. It wasn't because there was any reason for her eyes not to open. She has perfect vision. So that's the type of thing we look for as Labradoodle breeders, is what is the eye health like right from birth. We make sure that each day we monitor. This puppy's not eating right now, so I'm just going to use this puppy as an example here for you. So this is Blue Collar Boy. Hi, buddy. So you can see on his eyes here, they're perfectly clear. There's no discharge. They're not red. They're not irritated. Nothing is happening with them. And that's what we want to see. That's a healthy eye. And if you have a puppy that's got any crustiness or discharge at this age, and you're having to wipe the eye, then you're going to want, as a breeder, to be looking at that eye and keeping a close eye on him. Now, the other thing we do that we monitor very closely with puppies for the first month is their weight. And we weigh them generally once a day. Now he's getting mad. I think he's going to lose out on something, so I'll put him back. There's no open spots right now, so he's going to be disappointed unless he can find one underneath there. Why do we weigh the puppies every day, and why do we weigh them in grams? Well, the first reason we weigh them in grams is because we get 3 numbers. So if we have a puppy who's not doing well, we want to be able to have all 3 numbers to be having a really accurate picture of what their weight gains or loss might be. You want to weigh your puppies every day at least, because you want to be sure they're always gaining. If you start to see a puppy is not gaining, then you have to start keeping a very close eye on that puppy, looking at them and figuring out, okay, is this puppy sick? So the first thing you do when you have a puppy that's not gaining, oh, look, he did find himself a spot. Somebody else must have decided they were finished. We'll just use a green collar's bum right here for an example. When a puppy's not gaining, you want to first of all pick up their tail and you want to feel their bum. If their bum is wet at all, if there's discharge there of any type, other than if they're just pooping, that's a problem. You know that something's going on. That usually means a viral infection. If you have, oops, there we go. If you have also a strong odor in the room, you'll know that something's not right. And if you're a Labradoodle breeder after 41 years of breeding dogs, not just Labradoodles, my nose usually can tell me what the issue is. Usually I can tell if it's just an infection of some sort, if it's coccidia, which is a virus which is in the ground, which comes from rabbits. We have coccidia on our property, so we do get puppies with coccidia from time to time. Or heaven forbid, the worst thing, a breeder's nightmare, would be parvo. And how would the dogs get parvo? Parvo is brought in totally innocuously by someone very innocently. They could have been somewhere, stepped in some feces that was infected. They come in the house, they walk through the house. The dogs then walk there where they are. They get a little bit of the feces on their paws. They lick it, or the puppy ingests it off of the being close to mom's paws. They just inhale it. And what do you know? You've got parvo. And that is a complete catastrophe. So that is the absolute worst thing as a breeder to have happen, because once it's on your property, you never ever can get rid of it, ever. It withstands up to -50 Celsius and up to +50 Celsius, and it lasts for decades and decades and decades. So it's a very serious situation if you happen to have that happen on your property. So this past week, we had a couple of puppies who were not gaining weight the way I wanted them to gain weight. Pink color girl in particular, she was either losing a little bit or just staying flat. She wasn't getting anywhere. She was still presenting completely normally. She was vigorous. She didn't have a wet bum. She didn't have a temperature. She didn't have sticky gums. She wasn't dehydrated. She didn't have anything that was giving me any concern other than that little bit of weight loss. So what we did for her is we tube fed her. Tube feeding is when you put, just like it sounds, a small narrow tube down the puppy's throat into their stomach, and you syringe them full of formula. So the reason for that is just to boost her up, because as soon as they start losing weight, they start losing their ability to nurse and to be robust, because you can see how they all have to fight in here to get their spot at the milk bar. And you can see Pink Color Girl here, she was doing just great. And if we take a look at her tummy, we can see that tummy's nice and full. She's getting back onto the program here now, where she's doing pretty well. She's starting to be able to overnight actually gain weight, whereas before she was losing a few grams overnight. That didn't make mommy happy, did it? Oh no, no. They don't like being tube fed, obviously. Juniper is always very interested in licking the puppies off very thoroughly after they've been tube fed, because of course she can understand from her smell, from smelling them, that they've had something that didn't come from her. However, this is great. Juniper trusts us, so there's no issue there. So everybody's on the mend, and we seem to be doing okay. What do I think it is? Probably some minor infection. It's entirely possible that from Juniper being outside, she has something on her paws, and one Pink Color Girl, and it was Green Color Boy, somehow just ingested that, and it caused them to have a little bit of a stomach upset. But you can see they're all shiny, and that's one of the other clues for Pink here and for Green, who's here. You can see their coats are still really nice and shiny. That is also a really good indicator of overall health. So that's what was going on with these puppies in the last week. And now the other exciting thing that they've done, which I hope they might show for you, is they can stand up on all fours. Now they're not very steady. They're very wobbly. But now when they have to go to the bathroom, they're starting to go to the bathroom on their own. Not all the time. Juniper still is in charge of that. But they can eliminate on their own when she's not stimulating them. So you'll see them tottering all around in a big circle here in the box, trying to find just the right place to go. And it's really quite funny to watch, because sometimes they fall over when they're trying to go to the bathroom. But maybe what we'll do is we'll put Red over here and see if he'll give us an example of how they can walk now if he comes up and tries to find where Mom is. He may not be willing to show us. You can see right now what he's doing is crawling, so that's sort of typical of a puppy at this age. And he may just not want to be giving us a good demonstration, which is totally fine. We'll just see if he'll do it, but he may just decide to crawl. So at this age, they're just like kids. When kids are learning to walk, they don't walk all of the time. They still crawl most of the time, but they do get up when they feel like they are able to do so. There you go. You see he's trying to put his feet underneath him there, and there we go. He got up on all fours and tottered off over to find Juniper's head. So it's pretty unsteady going. They can't really navigate too well yet, but it's a really good sign. And it's quite early in the process for them to already be up on all fours. Now he's got himself into a pickle because he's got himself back here behind Juniper. Now when that happens, if I wasn't sitting here, they screech their heads off. You can't believe how loud these little puppies can be. He'll howl and howl and howl, and if Juniper doesn't move to accommodate him, and if she just ignores him as she sometimes does, which is totally normal, then one of us comes in and picks him up and moves him. And that's one of the reasons why we have our maternity ward located where it is. It's right next to our bedroom, so if it's during the night we can hear them. It's right next to our living room and our kitchen and dining area, so no matter where we are on the main floor we can hear them. It's also located right next to our principal stairway in the house, so if I'm in the lower level in my office, my door is open and it's right up a sound path right through to here. In the beginning, we have baby monitors we take with us. We don't have the baby monitors on anymore now because the puppies are strong enough to solve their own problems for the most part. And probably if I'd left Red here, he would have solved his own problem and come out on his own. So when I tell you we have a puppy with strong problem-solving skills, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for at this point in time. And the other thing we do sometimes is I'll put obstacles in the way when I'm in here with them. So this is my special cleaner for the whelping box that I make up. It's very good at killing germs, but it's also dog friendly. So it's actually made in Sweden. So I'll put this down here in the whelping box like this. And if I was doing it to let me know which puppies are dealing with solving problems, it would be before they were coming to nurse, and I would put this bottle in between Juniper. I would put it about here with the puppies here, and see who figured out how to go around it quickly, see how many of them kept trying to go over top unsuccessfully, or if they learned from that. So those are all the types of things that we do throughout infancy, even to understand their temperaments, and that's how we make a better match for you. So let's take a look at all the puppies, and then we'll talk about vets, trainers, and groomers after that. So we're going to go through the puppies in birth order as always, and we're going to start with Mr. Blue Collar, who's right here. Hi, buddy. He's still attached on there. Lots of times they fall asleep at the milk bar just because it provides so much comfort. There we go, my angel. Hi. Now I'm still talking to them. They don't have their ears open, but it's just something I always do. So this is our little black sable boy. You can see he's got his pretty eyes open. Now all puppies' eyes are blue at birth. These puppies' eyes will change. So most of them are going to end up with eyes that are the same color as Juniper's, which is when she's finished cleaning up, pink there. Beautiful light hazel color. The reason for that being that they are sables. So this little guy, he may have dark brown eyes, but I suspect everyone's going to really have Juniper's beautiful hazel eye color. Hey, pretty girl. And Blue Collar Boy is now 780 grams. Yay for you, such a big boy. Yeah, what a big boy. There we go. You go see Mom now. Next is Green Collar. So Green Collar, now again, just as I've said a couple of times before, you can really see Green Collar's curls starting to develop. He is just going to have the cutest little face with those curls, and you can see those pretty blue eyes poking out there and his little tiny ears up on top of his head there. Hello, Green. Green Collar Boy is a boy who is a little bit of a fussy budget right now because he did lose a bit of weight and wasn't feeling too well. Now that he's got all of his strength back, he's just like, don't hold me. I want to go. I want to go. And Green is 646 grams. There you go, buddy. I'll put you down now with his little curls. Now we have yellow collar. So this is yellow collar here. Yellow collar is not a sable, I'm pretty sure. Yellow collar is a tri, which is a phantom that also has the white markings as he's showing off for you there, giving you a big stretch. And he's a chocolate. He's not a black sable. The first two puppies we were looking at were blacks. And that's because he has a brown nose. And if you look at his feet here, he has brown pads as well. And so the phantom is all these tan points that you find here and under his tail. And this little white tip at the end of the tail is indicative of the fact that he's also carrying party, which is what these white markings are here. And that means if he was going to be a breeding dog, he would be able to make dogs that are two colors, bred to the right girl. Hello, handsome. How are you? Hi. So this is our good looking little yellow collar tri-phantom boy. He has always been the bruiser in this group. In this week is no exception. He is 862 grams. So he's going to be breaking that 1 kilogram mark soon. He's a nice hefty boy. Beautifully shiny coat, and you can see there's no lack of groceries here. There we go. Hey, yellow. There we go. Next we have silver collar. Silver collar, where are you? That's you, right? Or are you purple? I gotta make sure I got the right dog. Yeah, that's silver. Hi's right. Hi, bud. Hi. A silver collar is another chocolate. And silver collar is a sable, a chocolate sable. The sable markings are not so obvious on this puppy, but they are there. Oh, bye, June. June, are you going away? Are you going out? Okay, you can go out if you want. So you can see now that Juniper's quite happy to not be part of the show. She doesn't mind if she gets up and walks around. She's totally at ease. She's very confident in her puppies. She's just doing such a great job. She's not a helicopter mom, but she's always there whenever they do need them. If ever there's a squawk, she comes running right away, don't you? And Silver Collar Boy weighs 781 grams. Now, I don't think anybody can see the puppies if you do that. Do you want to come sit over here? Do you want to sit over here? Hey, do you? Okay, you just want to sit right in front and you're just like Posy. You have to be right in the middle of the show. Okay, there you go. Next is red collar. Red collar is a sable as well. Come here, buddy. Red collar was one of the puppies who was having a little bit of weight loss. Very, very small. Not enough that I'm too terribly worried about him, but just something to keep my eye on. And he is a black sable. Even though he's got this gorgeous mahogany color, he is black, and we know that by his black nose, black lips, and black foot pads. He's a very, very handsome boy. Really good looking dog. Hey, Red, you are 734 grams. Yes, you are. Oh, and everybody's going to go and see if Juniper will let them do a sit nurse now. Now we've noticed that, oh, Reynolds, if I could have some paper towel, we have a poop accident. So just as I was saying, the puppies can poop on their own now. And so somebody just gave us an example of that. So we'll just clean that up because apparently Mama Juniper figures that since I'm here, that should be my job and not hers. That's fine, Juniper. I can do that for you. Yes, I can do it for you. So when we clean up poop on here, Juniper usually does the bulk of the cleaning. She is still looking after everything. But if I do it and it gets on the carpet, then I just spray with this disease-killing spray, which is safe for the puppies, just to make sure there's nothing sticking around there that we don't want. There we go. Yeah, that was your puppy pooped. Okay, next we have Pink Collar Girl, and Pink Collar Girl has been the smallest puppy in the litter since day one, and she remains that way. The fact that she decided that she was going to have an upset tummy and lose a bit of weight didn't help. She's still feeling a little bit light to me, so she's being very closely monitored. She has been tube fed 4 times. I will say that probably we'll see how she does. She gained 18 grams rather overnight, which is just so good. And we'll weigh her again at lunch. So once they're not feeling well, then I start weighing them 4 times a day. So you get weighed first thing in the morning, lunch, dinner time, and then before bed. And then depending on what's happened, that's when we decide whether we'll tube feed them or not. So if they haven't gained what I consider to be close to normal amount, or if they've lost, of course, then we tube feed them to help them out. Hello, Cutie Pie. And I know that you do not enjoy being tube fed. Look at that sweet little face. She's just the prettiest little sable girl. Yes, you are. You're very pretty. Now see how much she looks like yellow color. She's got what looks like phantom markings, and she's got white on her, but she is definitely not a phantom. She is definitely a sable. And pink collar girl is $5.79. So the difference between the biggest and the smallest is $8.62 for our biggest and $5.79 for our smallest. And last but definitely not least is our other little girl in the litter, purple collar girl. Hey, Purpy. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, did I turn you over? Did I turn you over? And there she is, showing you her pretty eyes and her pretty curls. She and green collar look so much alike because they have those gorgeous little curls, which I just think are the prettiest little things. This is going to be a real sweet puppy too. A little chocolate sable girl with pretty waves and curls in her coat. And purple collar girl, she's 716 grams. She's just doing great for being the one that was the last born and was pretty tiny when she was born. Yes, you're just doing fabulous. The 2 girls are the smaller puppies in the litter, and also the last 2 in the litter. So now, for those of you who are getting a puppy, now you can watch Green Collar showing you how we can walk on all 4s. Look at us go. It's pretty fun to watch. He's pretty good. I think he's the most coordinated out of everyone. He and Yellow are probably the farthest ahead out of all of the puppies in terms of mobility. They're both doing really just great. There we go. There. And you see they're all going to hang out together. So why don't you come over and hang out with me, and then everybody can see the puppies. Yeah. There everybody can see the puppies, because that's really what they're in. And there's Pink Collar showing you how she can walk. She's not quite as agile as Green Collar is yet, but she's getting there. There we go, good girl. So what I want to talk to everyone who's on this puppy list about is a vet, a groomer, and a trainer. Now, you've already received from me my video giving you some tips on that. I just want to expand a tiny bit on what's in those videos. That video was made before COVID. Since COVID, it is next to impossible to engage anyone who is related to anything to do with the dog industry, be that a professional breeder, a veterinarian, a groomer, or a trainer. They're all in very short supply since COVID. Things have become very difficult. So when you're looking for a vet, you probably are not going to have an opportunity to pick and choose any longer. You're probably going to go, oh, thank goodness that I found one that's going to be able to take me as a new patient. So feel free to ask the questions that I suggest in that video, but you may have to start with a vet that perhaps would not have otherwise been your first choice, just so you have someone for your puppy. And then you can take some time and ask some questions and look around at other vet choices if you're not happy with the one you end up with, and put your name on the waiting list. You'd be surprised, waiting lists do move through. A lot of people are moving. There's a lot of transition right now as the economy fluctuates a bit. There's also a lot of people retiring, and with that they move from place to place. So you'll find that there'll be openings at veterinarian offices if you have your name on that wait list. A vet is someone that's very important to build a very strong relationship with. Your vet is the caregiver for your dog for life, and so you want to make sure that you trust them, they trust you, you have respect for one another, and that you're on the same page in terms of how you approach care for your dog. The next thing is the groomer. Groomers are very, very busy. A good groomer is a difficult thing to find. If you're on this puppy list, and you don't have a groomer, please post on our private owners page and ask. Say, hey, I live in, and I'm getting a puppy from the Turkish Coffee litter. Anyone in this area have any suggestions for a groomer? And you'll get some responses for sure. There's nobody who's getting a puppy from somewhere we've never placed a puppy. And if you do, then ask, oh, hey, would you mind posting a picture of your dog for me? Because you want to make sure that recommendation matches your idea of what your dog should look like. Now, I will be sending you home with a grooming guide that you can give to a groomer, and you can look at all of the dogs on the Our Dogs page on our website to see how an Australian Labradoodle should be groomed. You'll see lots of pictures on the private owners page where the dogs are groomed a different way, and that's because those owners like that look. Some owners prefer the Cocker Spaniel look, and so the ears are very long. They're not clipped up short and angled back such as Juniper's are, which is correct. Some people prefer to have the hair over the face and covering the eyes. I highly recommend you don't do that because it's quite scary for the dog. They can't see well. It also impacts their vision. You'll see some breeders' websites have all of their dogs' eyes covered like that, and you'll see in Jack's profile there's a picture of him when he was wet with his hair falling down, but it is not a good look for your dog on a regular kind of basis. And then you have to decide how long and short you want the dog's coat. You can see Junie's clipped up pretty short. This is the length I like to keep my dogs at. Super easy care. They dry fast if they've been swimming or out in the wet coast weather. Easy to groom, easy to maintain, and I just love this length. Whereas other people who have more time for grooming have their dogs in a longer coat, which is also beautiful. I just don't have the time to maintain it, and I'm not very good at it either. And then the last thing is picking a trainer. Really, really be sure you have a trainer who understands Australian Labradoodles and their temperaments. You want a trainer who understands what an Australian Labradoodle is compared to a Labradoodle compared to an Aussie Doodle. 3 completely different breeds, 3 completely different needs when they're being trained. I read a funny thing on, well, not funny. I read a post yesterday on Facebook by a very, not necessarily well regarded, but a very public forward-facing trainer in Europe. And in her post, it was all about how to get your dog's respect, which you'll hear me talk about a lot. And it's very César Millan in the approach, in that she says, you never let your dog eat before they ask permission. You never let your dog out the door without asking for permission, and definitely never before you, and so on and so forth. Right down to you don't ever allow your dog to ask to have a pet unless you have said it's all right and given them permission. So that's all well and good if you're that type of person. Generally, that type of person is not an Australian Labradoodle lover, and that's probably great for some breeds. It's certainly good for one of the breeds I used to work with, which is Siberian Huskies. Are you going to get compliance from them? Probably not. They're not too good in the obedience department. However, they are a breed that you do want to be treating completely differently from a Labradoodle. For me, when you're getting respect from your Labradoodle, that's because you've built a bond, you've earned that respect, because you have to earn your dog's respect, in my personal opinion, just as your dog has to earn yours. This is a two-way relationship. You learn to trust one another, you learn to respect one another, and you learn to understand and communicate with one another without all of this, what I consider to be complete nonsense. You must sit and wait before you go out the door. What's the point of that? What is your dog learning from that? What is that giving you? A robot. There are dogs that you can wind up that will do that, and there are robot dogs. I don't want a dog like that. And I don't want my dog to be 100% perfectly behaved. Yeah, I want them to be well behaved. Do I expect them to be perfect? That would be pretty silly and boring. So those are just my extra little bits of thoughts on those 3 key partners in your relationship and life with your Australian Labradoodle. So I hope you enjoyed the update. Next week, at week 3, we may still be in the maternity ward, or we may have moved out into the nursery in the doodle den. Juniper tends to get fed up with being in here after the 2nd week and is more wanting to be out in the nursery where she has a larger vista. She doesn't have solid walls around her in the nursery. They're all open. She can see more things, and that tends to make her happier at about week 2.5. As long as the puppies are all thriving and everyone's doing well, then we will accommodate her and move them out there. Their ears, as you can see, not sure if you can see, but in green colors you can actually see right in the ear here. You can tell it's closed. So next week some of these ears should be opening up. Will they all be open? I wouldn't expect so. Some will be open before others. If I look at blue color boy here, I can see his is already starting to open, whereas green's is completely sealed shut there. And if you were wondering who's opened their eyes first, it was pink color girl, and followed by yellow color girl, boy rather. And then I believe after that it was purple, and after that I can't tell you, but those are the first 3. But pink was a whole day ahead of everyone else. Her eyes opened on Christmas Day, so nice Christmas present. So we hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have about anything we covered today, and we hope we see you all again next week for our week 3 update. Thanks so much for watching.